Imagine a person who can become intangible, invisible, invulnerable, can fly, can burn everything around with molecular waves, can increase the density of their body to a state where it is physically impossible to injure them. Now imagine that this person was killed by a robot on 2 wheels, with 0 maneuverability and low intelligence. This is Omnidroid V1, which rated his threat level at 2.9 out of 10. And the strangest part is that this super could have easily survived, but didn't. Alright, first let's figure out who he actually is. Universal Man is a superhero with one of the most extensive ability sets in the entire Incredibles universe. He had complete and unrestricted control over the molecular structure of his body. Flight, he turned himself into a gas lighter than air and simply rose up. Intangibility, he altered his molecular structure to become literally non-solid and pass through any surface. Invisibility, he changed his structure and disappeared from sight. Invulnerability, he increased molecular density to a state where he could not be physically harmed. Superhuman strength through that same density. And molecular combustion, he manipulated the pressure and speed of molecules around him, pushing them to an explosive state. He could literally burn everything around him with directed waves of energy. He had a full set of abilities that are nearly impossible to counter unless Universal Man himself makes a mistake. But it is important to understand that Syndrome did not evaluate just the abilities of a super. He evaluated the person as a whole, because he could construct the battle scenario himself. And this is where the real story begins. In 1947, supers were banned. Most of them disappeared, became ordinary people, got documents with new names, and blended into the cities. Bob Parr became an insurance agent. Helen became a housewife. Frozone lived with a double identity for years. Universal Man could do none of that, because he did not have a second identity at all. He was the only superhero who never hid his face or his name. The entire city knew him, neighbors, journalists, even the enemies he had defeated. After the ban, he was left standing in the middle of the street with a face everyone recognized and no plan for what to do next. An NSA file described him directly: low self-esteem, dissatisfaction with life outside the role of a superhero, emotional instability, and here is the detail that says the most about him. Other supers did not accept him. They judged him for not hiding his identity, considered him irresponsible. No real friendships within the community. Think about what that meant in practice. His identity was Universal Man and nothing else. There was no family to protect, no friends waiting for him, no job to return to because he had never worked, no life outside the suit. When the suit was taken away, he was left with nothing. In the movie, Syndrome recruited Bob Parr through Mirage, offering money for participating in combat system testing. Bob agreed because he needed the money and missed his old life. Universal Man ended up in a similar situation, only worse. He had no money, no job, no one to talk him out of it. An offer to earn money for a single fight against a test machine sounded like a way out. Maybe even like something familiar, putting the suit back on, feeling needed by someone again. This is a theory. The canon does not describe the details of his recruitment directly. But the picture of his life at that point leads exactly to this. Before you is VX1. 2 wheels, 2 manipulators, a primitive sensor unit, does not fly, no special speed, no maneuverability. Universal Man had 6 ways to end this fight. Take to the air, and the wheeled robot simply cannot reach him. Become intangible, and any attack passes right through. Direct molecular combustion at the machine's body, and VX1 ceases to exist. None of these abilities were used. Here are 3 possible reasons. First, Syndrome studied Universal Man for years. An open identity gave him everything: behavior patterns, reactions under stress, combat habits. VX1 entered the field already knowing the opponent. The machine was programmed to attack at a specific moment before Universal Man could activate any defense. This was not improvisation, a pre-calculated scenario against a specific person. Second, the NSA file described him as a person with low self-esteem and an unstable psyche. At the same time, he never hid his face, which requires either complete disregard for danger or deep confidence in one's own invulnerability. 2 wheels, 2 manipulators. Perhaps he simply did not perceive it as a threat. He did not activate defenses because he deemed it unnecessary. He underestimated, and by the time he realized the mistake, it was too late. Third, and this is the darkest of the 3, molecular combustion would have killed VX1 in seconds, taking to the air and the fight would be over. The tools were there. The opportunity was there. But no one was waiting for him in the city. No person would have noticed the loss. There was no life to return to, no family, no friends, no job, nothing to anchor him to this world. Perhaps when the machine was already coming for him, he simply found no reason to defend himself. Not because he did not have time, because he did not want to. And most likely, Syndrome understood that Universal Man was the most dangerous hero, one who would be extremely difficult to stop. That is why he was the very first on the list. Because if other supers had learned about Project Kronos, they would most likely have united to take Syndrome down, and in that team the most dangerous one would have been Universal Man. Syndrome chose the perfect moment and the perfect target to begin his project. Because no matter what power you have, what matters is your mental state and your understanding of why you live. In the end, Universal Man lost his way in life, accepted the circumstances,
and died.